Yeah, it's kind of an overcast day here in Norway. I need to charge my Tesla Model Y, and I'm gonna do a stabilization test with the Sony ZV-1. I haven't been using this camera more or less at all, just because of my kind of activities, but I just wanted to test it today and see if it's possible to get some nice shots and test the stabilization also. See if this camera is usable without gimbal. So let's head out and charge my Tesla Model Y and then do short stabilization test with the Sony ZV-1. This is the road we have where I live. Not the best roads, but it's you get used to it. It's kind of funny after driving here for years. It's more or less normal, but this is typical country roads in Norway, narrow and not suited for cars coming in a different direction, but it's actually not a problem at all. Yeah, but as you can see, in winter time it's a little bit more challenging, that's for sure. It's not if you get a lot of snow and ice, it's not that great, but I don't have any issues with it, but it is what it is. So the Sony ZV-1 in 2023, is this still a great camera, and can you still use it for ordinary vlogging, walking without a gimbal? I don't know. Let's test it and see. I'm holding the camera on a Regulancy tripod around 40 centimeters from my face. It crops in quite a lot in active stabilization. Let's walk a little bit in active stabilization. I'm just gonna walk normal. I'm walking on a pretty flat ground. Does it jump up and down? It's not possible to hold my hands completely still. I'm trying and doing my best, but yeah, as an action camera this wouldn't work, but as a city vlogging camera I think it's perfect. It's so small and compact and easy to use. Just hit record and the camera does everything for you. And the internal mic is quite good. But this is active stabilization. Let's switch to standard and see how that is. I don't think it's so good at all, but you never know. But I really want a gimbal to this camera. I'm looking at the M3 crane. M3 looks like a small compact little gimbal that maybe is perfect for this camera. Let's switch to standard and see how that looks, and if it crops in quite a lot, and if the stabilization is rubbish. I don't know. This is standard stabilization on the Sony ZV-1. I think it works a little bit, but you need to hold your hands extremely stable, and that's not easy when you're walking and talking and your body is moving up and down, but it doesn't crop in as much, so you get a little bit more in the image, and that's good. But I think you need to use active stabilization to get pretty good stabilization on this camera. A lot of people are using this handheld without the tripod, just documenting different things, but yeah, the image quality is fantastic on this camera. The stabilization isn't the best. And there's a lot of new cameras out on the market now. The ZV-1 Mark II, isn't it? And you have the ZV-E1, looks pretty good with where you can change the lens, I think. But I can't afford that now, but I'm gonna use this camera much more. I think I need to do that because it's so good. It's so small, it's so compact, and the image quality is just excellent. So this is standard stabilization, steady shot I think it's called, with the internal mic, down at the bay, at the sea with quite windy condition. Let's switch to standard, and active stabilization I head up to the car. It's supercharging right now. I think it's soon done, so let's head up there. So this is active stabilization, much better than standard of course, but it crops in quite a lot. So I'm filling the frame, doesn't look that good, but it is what it is. But I think this is probably usable for small recordings, not big productions, of course, but just to document different things in your life, I think this is perfect. But I really want to buy a gimbal for this camera because I really want to use it much more, because the image quality is so good. The battery life is crap, but the camera is great, and it's so small, compact. It doesn't disturb people at all, and yeah, and the face tracking is just fantastic on this camera. The focusing is excellent, so for most people this is more than enough. You need to have several batteries. I have 6 of them, I think, so you need to have a bunch of batteries for this camera, but as a travel camera it's perfect. It is not waterproof, but it's pretty good and not that expensive either. So let's head up to the car. I think it's done charging now, so it's a nice day, it is. So thank you so much for watching, and tell me down in the description what you think about this camera. Is the stabilization usable at all, or is it just crap? Is it possible to use this camera as a vlogging camera? And does the image quality look good, and how is the audio? So please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.